of the main collector was proceeding at a rapid pace, and they began to move north very quickly. The sun's rays broke through the clouds. The roses blossomed and shone with moisture. The aristocrat stood near the cliff and pointed his finger into the distance, saying that the main collector should extend beyond that field, and there they would build a place for the destruction of waste. But then Bayern looked at him with a little concern and said that it was not far from the place where the mastodons settled, and asked if it was safe, to which he replied that since Baibong would appear there from time to time, they would not approach them, but extra caution would not hurt. The young gentleman threw the shovel over his shoulder and asked to tell the people not to irritate the mastodons again if they met them, and to tell them to retreat quietly. Instructions were given, but they never met a single mastodon. Beaver carried a huge pallet of bricks, and Lloyd wondered if this was due to the presence of the beast. He thought so, but the hero stood leaning his head against a tree. First he said red light, then green light. The protagonist turned around abruptly. The guy moved away a little and pretended to be surprised. Then he returned to his place and stuck his hand under his cloak and asked him to come closer, because he had caught him. The aristocrat put his finger in the shape of a gun and shouted the sound of a shot. The designer moved away and pretended to be shot and began to fall. Lloyd was lying on the ground with his head thrown back. He smiled softly and said that it was incredibly funny, and the system immediately said that it was interesting who else was crazy here, and he asked what was wrong, and said that he was having fun like this, and asked if ordinary people had fun like this. But then Peapodong came up to him, looking sad, and he said that he looked so pathetic because he was having fun. But he began to explain something furiously. The hero became serious and asked what was so strange they found there. The workers gathered around the strange pit. Lloyd started to walk through the crowd and asked about what happened there. But then he became serious and frowned. At the bottom lay the corpse of a mastodon. The aristocrat went down to it and thought that, judging by the degree of decomposition, it had not been dead for so long, and it looked like someone had killed it and buried it here. The young lord frowned even more and wondered who did it and why. The beaver lowered his head